Jerez, Michael Schumacher takes the lead in the Grand Prix.
Michael Schumacher, the undisputed king of Formula One, a 7-time world champion revered by many to be the greatest driver to ever grace the sport. His dominance was like no other, victories in almost every race that people began to question if he was human. But behind the trophies, behind the records, lies a darker side. A side filled with controversies, ruthless decisions, and moments that forever stained his legacy. This is the story the fanboys don't want you to hear. It starts off with a young Schumacher at the 1994 Pacific Grand Prix. That season saw a wave of regulation changes, including a ban on electronic traction control. The weekend before the race, Ferrari test driver Nicola Larini leaked to the Italian media that his team had been using traction control, raising suspicions within the FIA that some teams were using illegal aids. The car Schumacher was set to drive, the Benetton B194, was, if anything, an underpowered car. Yet, on race day, it was untouchable. In the beginning, Ayrton Senna crashed out on the first lap of the race. But instead of going back to the pits, he decided to sit on the wall at the outside of a turn, watching and listening to the cars for a number of laps to see if he could hear any noises that screamed traction control. 10 laps later, Senna returns to the Williams pit area, convinced that the Benetton B194 was illegal. Schumacher won that race quite comfortably, but only few could believe that an underpowered car had easily outperformed others. Other teams began voicing suspicions, and the FIA launched an investigation. While they discovered a hidden launch control system in the B194's onboard computer, they found no evidence of a traction control. With no proof, the complaints were dropped, but the whispers had already begun. The seed of doubt had been planted. Were Schumacher and Benetton bending the rules to win? And mind you, Benetton was a notorious team that year. Later in the season, they were caught in a fuel pump fraud scandal. And just days before that affair, it was race at Silverstone, July 10th, 1994. Schumacher was handed a black flag for ignoring a stop-go penalty. The black flag meant disqualification, yet he stayed out for 2 extra laps, as if the rules didn't apply to him. The FIA responded with a 2-race ban. Another mark was botched on his growing rap sheet. That seed of doubt didn't take long to grow. It reached full bloom in the final race of the season, where the championship battle between Schumacher and Damon Hill reached its climax. November 13, 1994, Adelaide, Australia. Schumacher led the championship heading into the final race, with Hill close behind in the standings. At the start, Schumacher took the lead, with Hill following in second. The order remained unchanged until lap 36, when Schumacher made a costly mistake. At the East Terrace corner, he ran wide and clipped the wall with his right side wheels before pulling back onto the track. Sensing an opportunity, Hill closed in. As they approached the next corner, Hill went for the overtake, but Schumacher abruptly turned in, colliding with him. Schumacher was eliminated on the spot. Hill, though initially able to continue, pitted immediately, but his car had suffered terminal damage to the front left suspension wishbone. Neither drivers finished the race, meaning Schumacher clinched his first world championship. But the way he secured it left a dark cloud over his victory. Many, including Hill and several F1 insiders, believed it was a deliberate move, a desperate, win-at-all-costs maneuver to secure the title. It was one of the earliest signs of Schumacher's ruthless streak, a foreshadowing of the lengths he would go in order to win. And it wouldn't be the last time. Then came Ferrari, a new chapter, but the same ruthless Schumacher. In 1996, his aggression found a new target, Jacques Villeneuve. At Estoril, Schumacher saw Villeneuve gaining. What did he do? He shoved him toward the grass at full speed. It looked like territorial warfare, and it was a warning, because just a year later, when the championship was on the line, Schumacher would take things to a whole new level. On October 26, 1997, Schumacher found himself in yet another title decider, this time against Jacques Villeneuve. And just like in 1994, when the championship was slipping away, he went for the kill.
Because Villeneuve is all over him, look, he's going through! Oh yes! I don't think...
Out goes Michael Schumacher!
That didn't work, Michael, you hit the wrong part of him, my friend. I don't think that will cause Villeneuve a problem.
As Villeneuve made his move, Schumacher turned into him, hoping to take them both out and secure the title by default. But this time, Schumi wasn't that lucky. Villeneuve survived the hit and went on to win the championship. But it didn't end there. Unlike Adelaide, the cameras caught everything, and there was no room for doubt. The FIA responded by disqualifying Schumacher from the entire 1997 season, with talks of banning him from the next season as well.
Though the act was apparently deliberate, it was instinctive and it was not premeditated. World Council has given careful thought to banning Michael Schumacher for 1998, but has concluded that to do so would be futile because there is no driver competing in 1998 who would not be ready to accept a ban in 1999 if he could win the championship in 1998.
Personally, it's quite a tough decision if you see losing my second position, because with Ferrari to have a second position in my record, it means something. But on the other side, I have to admit that I have done a mistake and I have done what I did, and I have to accept, and I do accept, the penalty.
Schumacher was clean after this, but his aggressiveness showed up here and there. I mean, it's a real thing one needs to win championships, 5 in a row, right? Take the chaotic 1998 Spa Grand Prix. Schumacher smashed into David Coulthard's car while attempting to lap him. Furious at losing his victory, Schumacher stormed into the McLaren garage, looking ready to smash Coulthard's face like he had just smashed the back of his car. That scene was a mess, and Schumacher's sportsmanship took a heavy hit. Then came Fernando Alonso, the man who challenged his throne. Monaco 2006, Schumacher had lost his championship streak the previous year, and this was his chance for redemption. But his controversial tactics hadn't faded. On May 27th, during qualifying, he set a competitive lap time and then conveniently parked his car at Rasgas, blocking the track and preventing Alonso from improving his time. The FIA saw right through it and sent him to the back of the grid, a calculated move that reeked of desperation. And then there was Hungary 2010. After his first retirement, Schumacher returned to the race for Mercedes. But old habits die hard. During that race, Schumacher nearly put Rubens Barrichello into the pit wall at 300 km per hour. Many believe Barrichello had played second fiddle to Schumacher at Ferrari, and this was how Schumacher repaid him. Look, I get it. I might seem like I've cherry-picked moments to paint Schumacher in a certain light, but this ain't fiction. This is who he was. Schumacher didn't just want to win, he needed to. And he'd do whatever it took, fair or foul, to make sure of it. His 7 titles, they're proof of his genius, but also of the lengths he'd go to. Does that make him any less of a legend? Not really. The talent, the speed, the dominance, it was all real. But the respect, that's where it gets messy. Because when you look back at his career, you won't just see a champion. You'll see a fighter, a villain, a mastermind, a genius, all wrapped into one. Schumacher will always be one of the greatest of all time. But let's be real. Was any one of us ever perfect in the first place? If you're still here, why don't you watch my other videos too?